aka the villain of truth, aka the Black Panther of Nigeria. Um, I'm just going to be asking a few questions and seeing whatever the conversation of today, wherever we wanted to dive to. Um, let's see how we can work on the subject. Something was springing up in my mind earlier today, and I was asking myself, I've really thought about it, that what are the solutions to the conversation I had this morning, about Dr. Brian. And let me just say, talking about the Black Americans, I don't know if I'm concerned, so much concerned about them, and I'm concerned in a way where I shouldn't be concerned about them, or I am actually having the right mind to see them in the right light. Like, okay, one thing is for sure, and what we can deny is just the idea of our ancestral past. I think that looking at the Black Americans right now, talking about the relationship now, trust me, I think I heard that they are decent families. I've been able to realize that they could be decent family in the Western culture. There's a possibility of that. We don't know how true that is, but at least one thing we can say for sure is that there are people who, I've spoken to some decent people. And the surprising thing is, even while I speak to decent people in the Western world, most of the decent people I've spoken to, they also still have challenges in their relationship over there. So I was kind of asking a few questions earlier, asking to see if there's any positive solution to black men and black women, even uniting. The thought came to my head, and I looked at every kind of look at everything, like what will be available that I can actually use, and I think I might even be able to make sense of it. But it was absolutely very difficult. So I went to make some. Part of the research I made was, okay, I said, what could be the solutions to black American men and women to having good loving and maybe happy family or marriage? And what I was able to get is like, okay, to improve loving and stable marriages among black American and women, addressing a combination of personal, cultural, and systemic factors is key. Here are some possible solutions. Number one, it talks about promote strong communication skills. And then I'm like, okay, how can we promote strong communication skills? Because for me, in my experience with most of the black people, I think looking at the African culture compared to some of the black community, I think they have better communication skills than Africans. Absolutely. I think most black Americans have better communication skills than Africans. Africans are not that good at communication. In fact, I think Africans, we have poor communication skills, but we have long relationship. So when we talk about promoting strong communications, the reality is these people almost talk about everything in and out, yet things are not working fine. In relationship are not, it's difficult for the men. And and I kind of ask myself, what is the real stuff? Though I understand the history of the past, and I've heard Muhammad Ali talk about part of the things that are actually affecting the black Americans and saying that segregation is, they call it segregation or stuff like that. You know, they infiltrate into the black family and they destroy it. And sometimes when I spoke with few people, they are like, no, nothing happened between the black families. The man just decided to be irresponsible after a period of time. But one thing I know is this: even those who make wrong decisions got to a particular junction why they started making that wrong decisions. And right now, people have become so much more educated. But why is it that the more we create more educated people, the more it becomes difficult for people to move around or be able to unite together? And and I was like, what do Africans have that the black community or the black people in the Western culture don't have? One of the things I saw is that they have strong communication skills, and they talk about active listening and empathy, which talks about encourage couples of truly hear each other's perspective and emotions. Even during conflict, learning to communicate with respect can prevent misunderstanding. That was one of the things I discovered, that part of the things I was able to research was that for black people to be able to unite together, they need to have strong communication skills. But that's absolutely a lie, because in African, we really don't communicate. Everything does not necessarily have to be verbal. And I always say this, even chat GPT, artificial intelligence, and all these things are dumb as any other thing. And I'm not trying to underestimate the ability of or the idea of people communicating, because communication actually plays a good role. Listening actually plays a good role. Empathy actually plays a good role. But if you think that communication is basically that it has to be verbal, then it simply means you are removing your eyes from the real goal. And the goal is, there are other body signs and there are other body languages that people should pay attention to, more important than even the words that come out of their mouth. For example, in the African culture, in some places, not everywhere, one of the things the women know how to do is to read their men, to study their men. And in today's world, it's kind of difficult for us to say stuff like this, because everyone thinks that for relationship to actually function, it has to be between both people, both parties. But I think I've forgotten the name of this guy, but I most likely will just do a research later and get his name. There's a video I actually have. Oh, it's on my YouTube stuff, so I can't work on it right now. And in the research, they discovered that for people to go into a relationship, one person must want it more than the other person. So there is no ground where people kind of need relationship in same level. So that means one person has to want or need the relationship more than the other person. And part of the research was that if a man wants the relationship more, then that means the woman is going to be on a different level. So the man has to do the pursuit every single time. And I always think that men always want relationship. The only difference is that men pursue to attract you, to bait. And the moment you get into that relationship, men begin to step back. And now the woman is the one chasing after the man. And I think it is kind of important in the dynamics of relationship between two people. In a sense that if women also feel like a man keeps pursuing them every single time, they most likely would kind of step back and they might not be interested in the relationship. So men actually maybe instinctively knows this, and so they bait the women. Part of the things men use in baiting women is success. They bait you with cars, they bait you with houses, they bait you with whatever they could accomplish in their life to draw you close to them. And the moment you come, then they begin to step back, and then you're the one pursuing. But maybe it has gotten to a point whereby the women are also able to get the same thing that men use in baiting them in the first place. And maybe that's the reason why you can't bait women that much. And so they can see the bullshit. They can really understand that, guys, whatever you think you have, and that's what you think you can use to lead me. Now I have those things. Now you can't lead me anymore. But I think in African culture, it's kind of a little bit different. I've seen women who are stinkily rich. Women who are stinkily rich. And when it gets to the aspect of relationship or the whatever, they just primarily focus on, in their relationship, they actually focus on the man. And they give the man the respect. I don't know. It seems African traditions just find a way to be able to resolve these things without, regardless of who is in power, who is educated, who is not educated. I think the tradition we kind of have kind of support. And when the woman thinks, the African woman actually thinks, okay, it's natural for me to be submissive to my man, regardless of whatever I have, because it's just a sign of commitment to what I want. I think looking at the black culture, I was on live not quite long, and I saw that what I can come up with is, it seems there's nothing most people can do about it at this junction. Best decisions that people could have made is that, like I said earlier this morning when I was speaking, is that people need to start making decisions to come to Africa. If anyone is interested, I think if you're a lady within the period, you are still in age of 30s and the rest of it, you're in your 30s, you still have a chance to be able to do a lot of things in Africa here. And maybe we need people who are sincere to be able to, any woman who is in the Western culture, the blacks over there, which they are still our cousins, brothers and sisters, if they want to come to Africa, Emma Abo, if you want to come to Africa, there's a chance that you can come. And the door is going to be open to you. You can make an arrangement for it if you're actually interested in it. Because the culture, I was able to dissect a little things about the culture of the blacks over there. And just based off what I see, I don't see things getting better. I'm sorry to say that, but that's how I see it. Maybe there's a way, because communication is not even working. What's wrong with my problem with this thing? Communication is not working. Culture and tradition is not actually supporting, because the system of marriage over there is a system that is not supporting. You know, there was a time in African culture, the people who actually partake in marriage are the families of both people. And looking at it in the aspect of the Western culture, it seems as if it is just the individual. And the individual just make the choice. And if the individuals are making choices, sometimes people always assume that because they are grown ups, then that means they are matured enough to make certain decisions. Yes, you can be matured enough to make certain decisions, but the idea is this: are you competent to make those decisions? And I think that's where things are actually lacking. People are not competent to make those decisions. And for you to be competent to make those decisions, you actually need people who have that same experience to coach you on how to make the decision. And I think that's what the African culture are able to, we the African, we have been able to actually master that for a man to get married or for a man to be committed, and let me even put it out to every blacks, if you're a lady, all the blacks, it will be rare for you to be able to get a man to be committed in having a serious, long-lasting relationship with you if you are not that close to his family. Because the desires of men is very wild. It will be difficult. I repeat, it will be difficult for a black woman to be able to get a black man to commit in a long-lasting relationship without his family, because his desires are very wild. Sometimes people will say, what's the meaning of that statement? Here's it. Look at the corn industry, for example. And when I say corn industry, I mean the adult industry. You would realize that men are the reason why they established most of those adult industry. And the imaginations of men is always running wild on them. Even I that I'm married, yeah, I love my wife, I love my children, I'm committed, blah, 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 blah. Our imaginations run wild. I'm not telling you, you guys shouldn't just be focusing on the idea that, oh, because certain people have been able to master few discipline. I wouldn't even call myself mastering of any discipline. I just say I'm just being committed. Just because some people are very lucky. I think I'm lucky in a sense. Because if I haven't built that frame of mind and at the same time build the environment that could make me, be committed to my wife and my children, if I have to play with the pleasures of my heart, I would run wild. My imaginations most times are kind of wild. And I know it happens to all men. So because men have these wild imaginations, if a woman is not that close and she have the favor from the family of that man to keep that man in check, to say that you have a good woman around you, and that woman you have around you, you shouldn't lose that woman, because that's one of the best decisions you have made. Those who would constantly give him that reminder, he most likely would lose his focus. And trust me, I know a lot of people wouldn't agree with it. And you don't have to. Just hear me spill out my stupidity, but the stupidity that works for African. And I think also, same thing is applicable vice versa. A man shouldn't take a woman serious if you don't know the family of the woman. Hey, thank you. See, that's my wife. She knew exactly what I needed. And she brought it for me. Call it bitter cola. I never asked her for it, but she knew I needed it. Reading. Because trust cannot be built between two people. And that's where people get things wrong. Most Western culture think that trust can be built, a long-term relationship trust can be built around two people. That's a fallacy, that's a lie. It doesn't work. Trust can only be built by a group of people as much as relationship is concerned. Now, that doesn't also mean that there are no possibilities that the man mother might not be alive, his father might not be alive, but he has to have people who are very close to him, like his sisters, his cousins, his nephews. You can just see an individual on the way and you say, I want to have a relationship with you. You both are still strangers. The only time you can fully show each other that you are completely committed to the relationship is when you are absolutely willing to bring everyone from your side and everyone from our side, and you guys come together and you say, I am so committed to you that I am proud to bring myself and my family to you and show that we are committed. Trust can only be built when you fully commit. You just wake up one morning and you go meet a guy and you tell him, oh, I'm committed to you. Let's start having communication skill. I do not care. I 1000% do not care what language you speak, what communication you speak. Those things are just momentarily. The moment after the sex is going to think of something else. A man cannot put his trust into a woman that he doesn't know where she comes from because she hasn't shown him the complete side of her. And when you take your family and you show your family to your man and you say, this is my man, that means I'm proud of him. I am committed to being with this particular individual. And he does the same thing. That is the epidemic of trust. The problem is people are not trying to build that cultural standard to prove. Let's look at Chinese, for example. Chinese have long-lasting relationship. Asians have long-lasting relationship. Japan has long-lasting relationship. Look at the culture of these people. Do you think the man and the woman just see each other? Yes, you have your time to know each other, but you cannot fully be committed in the relationship because there's a fear there. There's always going to be that fear that one day this person is going to walk away and run away. Let's put it in this perspective. If you perhaps make a decision to commit some funds in my hand, I'm a Nigerian, you are in America, you are in US, you are in UK and the rest of it. If you commit money into my hands just because you see me on social media and I speak and the rest of it, and then you take maybe $200,000 and you commit it into my hands, you're going to be scared, you're going to be worried every single time. If you know my family, you know my generations, where I came from, you know everything about me, and I also know everything about you, I would be careful on how I deal with you. Because the question is this: do I value the money more or do I value my family more? This begins to play a role. And that's how you build trust. You commit, you show much sacrifice, you show your families. You can't have serious relationship without both families coming together. But currently, in the Western culture and in the black culture, it doesn't work that way. Now, I'm not saying it doesn't work. I'm just like, it's very rare to see. Because For a man to fully love you, he can't love just you alone. He has to love your roots, what comes with you. He has to see the imperfections in the root where you came from and love all those things regardless. And when he shows to them that he's committed to them, he would love all of you. The problem is that we are so greedy and we are like, oh, I want the man to love me for who I am. No one is shit. No one is that important in the real world. No one is that important. And for women, I think if you commit yourself to a man where you don't even know the family where he comes from, or you are not committed to his family, or his families are not committed to you, this individual can do something stupid. There should be that fear inside of you. And this is the reason why most people go into relationship not even knowing that that's the reason why they are very defensive in their relationship with their man, or the man is being defensive in the relationship with the woman. Am I making sense, or am I saying stupid things? Let me know. Am I making sense, or am I saying stupid things? Hey, this is Chinese. Hello, what do you write? Good day. Let me make myself handsome a little bit. I think yes. Okay. And I think if you want to go into, I don't understand, but if you look at the structure of what is actually going on right now, for me, I know there's nothing impossible. That's what I like to believe. But at the same time, I think some black women in the Western culture who are willing to get married, they need to come to Africa. And if you have to come to Africa and you're looking for a safe space and you want to get married and you want to understand family structure, family dynamics, how things actually work here, the possibility that if you want an African man, we can start the conversation. You can let me know. We can make the arrangement. I'm not talking about an African man where he's going to take advantage, the ones that the family would love you, but you also as a person should be willing to learn. Where am I from? I'm from Nigeria. Specifically, you just say Africa. Specifically, you just say Africa. I know most people are not live right now. Today is Thursday. Most people are not live. Sometimes they are. But I'm so sorry. Will I say I'm sorry? I'm not sorry. I'll just say I'm so unhappy looking at the relationship dynamics between blacks. Because trust me, if you don't have family, you really don't have anything. Some people will say, no, 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 I have myself. Yeah, if you have yourself and you're good with yourself, you don't need to worry about it. Anything I say shouldn't even upset you. The problem is that I know most people try to deny their feelings, they deny their wants, they deny their needs, they deny their biology just to make them think that they are strong. I ain't playing doing that kind of strong dynamic. I'm a strong person. I don't play that kind of stuff. Yeah, good morning, Lisa. Good morning. Yeah. So, Lisa, I'm specifically, yesterday, someone drew my attention to the idea of watching a particular program, Neo Canon, Neo Catin, is it Neo Canon, and a therapist lady who they had a conversation. They call it Funky Friday, and then the lady is 41. She's not married. She's a therapist. She's not married. She called herself a doctor, a therapist, a life coach, and she coached people about long-lasting relationship and the rest of it. And the man who brought her in, is it Cam Newton? That's his name, Cam Newton. He has 3 baby mamas and 8 kids. And so a lady of 41 who is not married, she says she's looking and waiting up to God. And so when I listened to everything, I saw the comments that people were having, and the comments was that a lot of ladies were saying, "Oh, she was brilliant," and the rest of it, and she was smart. And I'm like, nope, nope, nope. This is not about anyone winning the conversation because both of them are not qualified. Yeah, I'm like, both of them are not qualified to give any advice about relationship. Both are not qualified, absolutely. And I think that one of the problem is that a lot of people worship the idea of good communication in the idea of verbal communication and underestimate the idea of good communication, which is non-verbal communication. And non-verbal communication is the real communication. So you hear most women, they say, I want you to be open up to me. Tell me everything about you. I want to know you. You can't know someone without doing the work. You say, why is she unqualified? The result of her life shows she's not qualified. We have to bring out ego out of this. We have to take our ego out of the subject. If I talk to you about relationship and I am not married, you're right. I am wrong. But if I have to tell you about something that I've not been able to accomplish, you want to trust the coach who has not been able to accomplish something, then it simply means you are most likely going to have the same result as me. I definitely would agree with you that I am wrong. But when you look into the comment section, you can see a lot of people talk about, okay, let's ask ourselves this question. You have no idea what black women have to deal with in America. Trust me, I don't. Trust me, I don't. I wouldn't lie to you and tell you that I I understand the whole experience there. I've spoken to a lot of black women in America. Trust me, I do. I have friends there. I talk to a lot of people in the Western world, both in UK, both in US. And I know they are decent women. I understand they are decent women. Yes, 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 the game. Yes, the truth. What I'm saying is this. Now, you cannot build a relationship on an empty foundation. You cannot build long-lasting relationship on an empty foundation. And what I mean is this. Let us go out of UK or US, sorry. Let us leave the black Western people now and let us go into those people who have been able to figure it out. Part of the people who have been able to figure out relationship, Africans number 1, Asians number 2, Chinese number 3, Japan number 4, What are the things that they all have in common? Let's look at the culture of those who are able to have long-lasting relationship that last for 60 years, 70 years, 80 years. What do they all have in common? Simple. I, as a person, for example, put me out of a game that I'm not married. I see you, Lisa. You, Lisa, see me. You like me. I like you too. We decide to build good conversation, good rapport. I may try to trust you. You may try to trust me. But how can we fully know that we are both committed to the relationship? We need to bring certain evidence. And the evidence is in the family. Is in the family. Most people that I realize that have issues in relationship regarding, even including the decent ladies, is that they want people to hold their word as their bond. Human cannot flourish that way. I think that if people are good psychologists, good therapists, and they call themselves psychologists, they should know already the importance of family in marriage. They should know the importance of family in a long-lasting relationship. You cannot be a psychologist thinking that just the conversation you have with one person is going to be a bond. Yes, you guys might love yourself. You might like the chemistry. You might like every other thing. You have extended family. Beautiful. The man, I don't want to, I'm trying not to make it look in any way that's going to look anything maybe personal or so, but I'm just going to say, if perhaps you love a man or you want a man, have you seen a man that you're committed to and his family are also committed to you? Have you ever been in such a relationship where you said, what? It's almost like getting an education on being ambitious is a course. Okay, they have extended family. Okay, it is just the evidence. That's what I think. It is just the evidence. It is the evidence to all culture that can flourish. About what they all have in common. Yeah, that's all we all have in common. Absolutely. That's all we all have in common. Because Cam Newton, is that his name? Abis Neil Cannon or Cam Newton? He said he's looking for a wife. She said she's looking for a husband. Please, let's leave the idea of she knows how to communicate. Trust me, I can agree that that lady is good on how she uses her words. This is the same thing most pastors do to church. Most pastors are good in using words, good in using the Bible. It doesn't mean they are righteous or they are doing the work of God. Just because I'm fluent with the way I speak, just because I know how to communicate, does not really mean I am a good role model or I have the best advice. My word can only stimulate you mentally, and you might love to communicate the way I do, but it doesn't necessarily mean that I am telling you the truth. The foundation is shaky. And I'm saying that if ladies want to go into any relationship, any strong, lasting relationship, these are the basic things you should focus on. And if you think that the blacks over there, maybe everyone is just living their own way and no one wants to bring you tea up to, and I'm not, when we talk, we are not just talking about mama. Because some people, when they talk about, I want to bring you to my family, they are simply talking about their mother. I'm not talking about mama. I'm talking about the complete family. It is the reason why you do not do wedding, or what do we call it, private wedding, between just a man and a woman. They have to be witnesses. Witnesses simply means family members. You cannot do a marriage and both of you hide. All this court marriage, all those things, they don't make any sense. They don't mean anything. Because one of the things that will hold you both together while you're in the marriage is to remind yourself that we both said it out there that we are committed to this relationship. And how do we find a way to make it work? That becomes the most important thing to you. That question begins to remove your egos. Because let me say this, the battle of ego between men and women, no one would win that battle. Nobody. You can be wealthy, you can have the whole money and the rest of it. Nobody is going to win. Look at the same thing we experience with the Jews right now. The Jews experience Holocaust. The blacks experience slavery. The experiences are different. But one thing we can say together is there's something similar. You both experience a lot of pain. But the Jews are even the minority, yet they know how to hold things together. Now, look, which I did yesterday, look at the culture and the traditions of the Jews. Just go to your phone. You can minimize. Look at what are the cultures and traditions of the Jews that keep them together, and look at the culture and traditions of the blacks, and you will see the reason why they are divided. Their traditions and culture are absolutely far from each other. No wonder they win. No wonder they are able to win on every level. You can't mess with the Jews. I didn't say, I said you both experience pain. Holocaust, slavery. I am not denying it. Now, you see, one of the things is this that I know is that sometimes we always want to find a reason behind our pain and why we should stay in that place. I don't know if that's just the only solution. I am saying this is an evidence of what we are seeing. Because they have strong culture and traditions. What are the culture and traditions of the black people? How many gay, how many LGBTQ do you know in the Jews? How many LGBTQ do we know in the black? LGBTQ is not the culture of the black people. Please, can you tell me that LGBTQ was part of the culture and traditions of the black people? I understand what you're saying. I am asking a question. Is LGBTQ part of the culture and traditions of the black people? And can we ask ourselves, what are the cultures of the black people? Please, I've done some of my research. before my battery goes off. Uh, by way of imprisoning our men, not not it's forced on us. They are treated in such a way that they are not consistently violently accosted. Not it's forced on us by way of imprisoning our men in mass. Do you think it is part of the reason why? Do we think it's part of the reason just because? Do you think the men are scarce? That's the reason why there are no men, or do you think it's because the men and the women are unable to see eye to eye on things? In Nigeria, for example, we have over 25 to 30% of men in prison. Over 30% of our men are in prison in Nigeria. Yet we have long-lasting relationship. Either we call it polygamy or whatever, we have long-lasting relationship. It is not the absence of men. I'm not saying these things that you're pointing out to, they are not part of the problem or they are not problem. You are talking on the men are easily influenced in America and we do not have strong family bonds. That's exactly what I'm saying. That is exactly what I'm saying. And the reason is this: the structure are absolutely um, shaky. Look at the African culture, for example. Part of the things African, okay, one of it is African roots in heritage. That's what Africans have over there, the blacks, which is ancestral ties, diasporal influence, family and community, extended family, resilience and support network, music and dance, spiritual, gospel, jazz and blues, hip hop, rap, dance, cuisine, soul food, food as a connector, spirituality and religion, the Black church, diverse spirituality practices, art, literature, and film, Harlem Renaissance, modern Black art and media, fashion and style, unique expression, cultural movement through fashion, social justice and activism, civil rights movement, Black Lives Matter, language and vernacular, African American vernacular English, code switching, entrepreneurship and innovation, economic empowerment, Black world, sport and athletic achievement, resilience and innovation. These are the Black um these are the cultures of the Black Americans. Now let's ask ourselves, cultures of the Jews. Now trust me, I admit to what you say, but let's look at the cultures. It says that Jewish culture is incredibly rich. When it was in the time of the Blacks, what did it say here? It says the culture of the Black Americans is rich, diverse, and deeply rooted in history. Here it says that Jewish culture is incredibly rich and diverse, shaped by thousands of years of history. That means they hold on to their cultures for thousands of years, religious traditions, and the experience of Jewish communities spread across the globe. Religion and tradition, Judaism. So they specifically talk about their traditions. Sabbath, which is Sundays, Kashrut, which is dietary laws, Jewish holidays and festivals, Passover, Hanukkah. Now, Passover is the time, something that is written in the book of Exodus regarding when they came out of the land of Egypt. So the culture they have long time ago still exists inside of them till date. All these cultures are part of the things that still keep them. Now they have what we call language and literature, so they still speak Hebrew. Most of the Black Americans today do not speak their mother tongue because they've lost it already. I started hearing things about Pan-Africanism, and I think people are rooting for people to go back and start learning things about their motherland. Yiddish, Jewish literature, family and community, strong family ties, bat mitzvah, a key Jewish rite of passage, the bar for boys or bat for girls. Jewish community life. Jewish communities have long been tight, night often centered around synagogues, schools, and communal organization. Art and music, theater, Jewish theater, they talk about cuisine, traditional foods, symbolic foods, diverse within Judaism. It is just too much. It is just too much. Jewish honor, Zionism, and state of Israel, Israel's roles in Jewish culture, historic of perception of persecution and resilience, the Holocaust. They still talk about this. Man, yes, they worship a black man's culture. The book of Deuteronomy is about black people. What side of Deuteronomy are you talking about? I trust me, I understand the book of Enoch, and I understand that the Ethiopian Bible is the real Bible. It has more things in it. You see, if I take someone else's culture and tradition and I apply it to mine for my own benefits, I think it kind of makes sense. It is when I can't apply it in a positive light, that is when it becomes destructive. Let us even assume that the book of Deuteronomy is basically for the blacks, but they apply this particular thing. Look at their, just go in and look at their cultures and traditions compared to the blacks. It's a lot. So everything, and when you look at all the things they have regarding culture and traditions, it's just the amount of time they spend among families. And I think that is one of the things that is absent in the life of the black people. So the passage for us to be able to close this gap is that, for me, the way I put it is that most black people needs to, maybe young black people, because I don't know how interested the grown-up black people would view African. But I think the black people should be able to come to Africa. See, this is for families or for generations of the works that the black has already done in the Western culture, for it to be able to still flourish after a period of time or after some years. Because what I can say is this, based off what I have seen, based off the research that I know I've done, it looks and it appears to me that they are trying to wipe out the original blacks who helped build the Western culture. And they have to destroy the family. And when you guys are not getting married anymore, just look at the hatred between black men and black women. To God who made me, I've never seen such kind of hatred in any culture in my life. I have never seen it. And they are trying to divide. In my mind, it looks like they gradually indoctrinate people into the LGBTQ, and these LGBTQ do not have power over the Jews. Now, the LGBTQ is just like, okay, the men become more gay, the women become more lesbian, they are not interested in each other. And then you're not going to be having strong family ties. And if you're not having strong family ties, it is a matter of time the generation is going to be wiped out. It is just a matter of time. You guys, right now, you're still the majority, because when it comes to anyone saying they want a vote, either Donald Trump, either Kamala Harris, everyone still bows to the black. You still have the power of number. That's why they want it to come to Africa. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I don't think African we are ready to. Yes, we know that there are certain crazy type of people inside our people who wants to buy all those idea. But this is how I view it. How I view it is that majority of the blacks, you guys are still part of Africa. You are not even part of Africans. You are originally Africans. And because most of you know how to do this test and you know exactly where you come from, 3% this, 10% this, 2% this, 5% this, or I come from Nigeria, or I'm from Ghana. I'm like, there is a huge passage that you guys can come, learn more about the family dynamics and learn how to establish it. And if you know how to establish it, do you want to establish it with the Africans? I'm not saying you should come and marry me. So you don't look like I have any interest. I'm not saying you should come and marry me. But whenever I think about this subject and it pops up in my mind, it seems as if I am seeing my brothers and sisters in that light, and I'm seeing them systematically being taken out, and they are not even aware of it. And rather than them to see exactly the enemy, they are looking each other as the enemy, focusing on the idea of who is making more money, high value men. And I was saying something this morning. What I was saying is this: when you look at the Jewish community, please, can you say one particular place where the men and the women are debating and you hear them say high value man, high value women, high functioning man, high functioning women? All these are causing disparity among you guys. It's not uniting you guys, it's dividing you guys. Do you hear where they say high value Jewish guy and low value Jewish guy? A Jew is a Jew. There's no high value, there's no low value. If you see me as your brother or you see me as your family, will you classify me to be a low value guy just because I don't have funds? But because you think that I am not part of you, so you can say, I am in this place and you are in this place. And those are the kind of conversations men and women are having. The man will say, I'm a high value man because I'm a high value man. I can have any woman I want. These are excuses for bad behaviors. Every high value, whenever you hear high value stuff, they are trying to give out an excuse for bad behavior. Because you can never hear high value, and because I'm an high value man, I have to be committed to you. As an high value man, I have to be able to take care of my family, take care of you as my wife, and take care of the children, and to be committed to you. When you hear high value man, I have the right to do what I like. When you hear high value woman, the same thing applicable. It is painful that I have a small channel, because I know most of the blacks that I spoke to, a lot of them know exactly these things, but they are all scared. Oh, if I speak out, they might block my channel. Or if I speak out, the blacks might hate me. I don't give a damn if anybody hates me. When did you go to the Jewish community and you hear, treat me, I'm a king, I'm a queen. I'm a queen, I'm a king. Who does that help? A king and a queen that cannot take care of their kingdom? You said black men do not want to elevate from poverty in America. You know when I'm going to buy that? I will buy that if you tell me 3 problems about the black American woman. Serious ones. The things you know that the black American women are doing that is absolutely wrong. Because it is like we're looping the same thing, pointing the finger to the next person that you are the problem. If we want to make a change, we have to look at what we are doing specifically that is causing the problem. They just don't try to elevate in career or education. Okay, what you're saying is they are using because other culture people love them. That's the reason why. Earlier I spoke about family ties, and I'm like, family ties is broken. There are no good family ties. You have a good point, but I'm just going to ask. I am an African guy, and trust me, there are no cultures of people that are black that I don't like. I, as a person, can never, ever, ever mingle. When I say mingle, it's not like I despair, I hate these people. It's like I can't get married to someone from Russia, from any other place if you're not black. It must be some kind of black. But and I'm doing fine. The question is, looking right now at the culture, what are the things you think that the women are absolutely doing that is most likely contributing to the bad experience of relationship that you guys have? If you can't see it, then you're not seeing correctly. Because one of the things I was able to say morning when I was having this conversation was like, there's one thing I understand about the Black American people, the women specifically, is that most people are kind of they are kind of they want a man to always communicate with them, communicate on every level. And I'm like, in every successful relationship in every part of the world, every strong successful relationship in every part of the world, the verbal communication is not the major reason for the success of the relationship. Number one has to do with family. Number two has to do with reading and studying the person that you're with. And when I say read and study the person, I hear there are too many psychologists women in the black culture, but these psychologists are only interested in communication skill rather than focusing on the idea that the man does not necessarily have to speak. I know exactly what he wants. And I'm not blaming you guys fully for that, but I'm saying it's one of the problem. Every single time you hear ladies who go on panels to speak about anything, everyone is specifically talking about open communication. Men do not open speak every single thing in their mind. Sheila Ray says that, well, I can tell you, and I am white, that my husband put husband family last. So that my brain will comprehend what you say. You say, well, I can tell you, and I am white, that my husband put husband family last. His own family, his own family please make it clear, because what I can read here, I don't want to misinterpret what you're saying. And number one, why we discuss things like this, we need to understand that we can be lucky. I'm not even using the word luck. In every relationship, there are kind of nuances. Those who are able to get it, and they don't necessarily have to follow the rules just like the majority. In fact, there are Black Americans who I know that they met themselves without even knowing each other's family, and they built strong family, and they have children, and they are flourishing. He put wife last. Sorry, he put okay. Well, I can tell you that he put you Okay, well, I can tell you, and I am white, that my husband put wife family last. Am I correct? Our extended family. Okay. Yeah, is it? The difference is like, it's like what you said, it's more like less like applicable to me. I don't worry myself about my wife's family. I don't trouble myself about my wife's family. I respect them. I honor them. I do the best I can. Now, it is the responsibility of my wife to take care of our own family. I will support her in the best way I can. They are not my problem. But the reality is this. Cool. Oh, okay. Please. Hello, ma. Hello, ma. Hello, ma. Oh, I had a call. Now, the idea is this. The idea is this. Regardless of what I go through or any issues I have with my wife, I know fully well that she came from a family. And I know fully well, subconsciously, that anything goes wrong with my wife, our family would hold me responsible for it. That keeps me in check. If I have a woman and I know that whatever I do to her, no one is going to hold me responsible, that can boost my negative behavior. But if I know she comes from a family and a family are very so much aware and concerned about their daughter, I would behave myself. Those are the purpose. Not because I have to take care of everyone in my wife's family's life. They are not my responsibility. She is my responsibility. My wife is my responsibility and my children. But I know the commitment is between both of us, but beyond the both of us. That's what keeps us in check. In fact, most men, that's what keeps us in check. Put it in this perspective. A man, if he knows, for example, that his wife comes from a family where she has strong brothers who can protect their sister, he most likely will behave himself and doesn't want to raise his hand on his wife. But a man who knows that his wife does not have any brother, any nephew, any cousin that can defend her, and is a woman abuser, tell me why he wouldn't abuse her. These are all the purpose where family actually play a role in relationship. Because the expectation is our brothers are also going to get married. And the same thing is applicable in every area. A man who is married should know that, okay, my wife, I'm responsible for my wife. And if anything, then he wants to respect the woman. The idea of we just coming together we just come from anywhere. I came from Switzerland, you came from Europe. I don't know your family, you don't know my family. And we just meet and we say we are having strong relationship. What is bonding us together? What are we having together to hold us responsible? So that's the perspective. And I'm telling Black women, see, if you want to know more about relationship, please, for those who says they want to come to Africa, the only thing you do is come to Africa. If you're looking for a man and you think the black men are not interested and they are not committed, you can see committed people in Africa. I'm not saying, me, I do not have a family member I want to give to anybody. I don't have any family member I want to give to anybody. I'm the only son from from my father. I don't, but I know certain worthy people. And I know that any woman who is interested and committed to do things to find the right person, if you think it is not worth fighting for, if you think it is a lost battle, I am just a brother from African, and I'm just trying to show my brothers, my lost brothers and sisters who are outside, that there's still a possibility for things to work out, for you to have, see, there is no fulfillment. You say this is a problem, then I have no family to protect me. Sorry about that. He might be a nice man. There's a possibility he might be a great man. It might be, you know, it is a sense like you are going to see the result. You can be lucky and you may find a good man, and the man might have conscience. I'm just saying, if we participate in the things and we do the things the way we are supposed to do them, we would have better results. You have to ask yourself question. If you are in 2 years in the relationship, you have to be careful. Try and know his family. Know what his family stand for. Try and introduce your family to his family. A man cannot tell you he loves you and he hates your family. Yeah, well done. Yeah, well done, sir. Yeah. Should they sleep? Officer Peter. Officer Peter. Yes, sir. Mama. Mama. Okay, she there room. Give me a few minutes. May I go talk to me. I see her. See, AYT women and Asian or Latin women. That's the difference from African men. Yeah, that's the reason why people need to. Those who want to come to Africa should try and come. Okay, it was Lisa that actually wrote this. Okay, it says in Africa there are No other cultures and mass around y'all. For men to escape to y'all must work it out. Black men in America are not forced to work it out with black women they can just be with. Okay, that's the difference from African men. We actually built a system that will make the man be committed to the woman. That's the difference. Creating a system that will make the man wants to work it with the woman. Looking at it like you don't you have the liberty. I can tell you this. Someone did what? Jesus Christ. What did I see here? Someone gave me how many dollars? Wow. I didn't see the person who gave me money. Oh, Jesus Christ. Who is the person? I didn't see who gave me money, but I can see money here. Please, who did give me money? Oh, let me thank you. The idea about the African culture, in my own view, is that I can decide I don't want to get married. Nobody would hold me and tell me that I must get married. I can decide and say I don't want to be in a relationship. Nobody would force me. It is that the structure and the culture and the concept makes the married man or the marriage to be valued. This is it. We praise the men and we appreciate the men who are married, who takes care of their wife and who takes care of their children, who are committed to their wife, who are committed to their children. It's like we honor those people. And in culture and tradition, there are things you need to honor and respect. You have to cherish certain kinds of value. And because we feel appreciated doing such a thing, it encourages us to want to continuously stay with our wife, regardless of anything, stay with our family, because we know we are being valued for our endurance. There is nobody who is in any relationship that does not endure. But when we are being appreciated by the society for our endurance, we want to do that, because at the end of the day, society is nothing without women. The effort of every man is to see that it makes the women happy. If a man sees that he cannot please a woman, when we talk about women, women are more or less the society, because every man comes from a woman, every woman comes from a woman. So if we cannot please the society, we cannot please the women, we don't want to engage in such things. Now, I think the hip-hop culture, hip-hop itself does not appreciate the men. Maybe it is that concept of music, because I think when you lose the ability of spirituality, and I hate saying all this thing because it's like something we are supposed to know, that we are part of spiritual stuff. Music is spiritual. The Jews can play music right now and we don't even understand what they are saying, but it means a lot to them. You can see the way they hum. You can see the way it means to them. You can see the way they sync with the music. In the hip-hop culture does not support a man. The song does not support a man who is loyal to a woman. Hip-hop culture does not support a man who takes care of his family and his children. Hip hop cultures only talks about a man who sleeps with all kinds of women and is not committed to any woman because he sees women as bitches. All these little things that people do not pay attention to are part of the things that contribute to the problem. Afrobeat, we may sing about dance, we may sing about rejoicing, we may sing about stuff. Yes, people might say Afrobeat is not making, but we have certain cultures and traditions that we so much value. And I think this is where the problem is coming, and that's why I'm putting it out to the world. Any black woman, you're a black woman, you want an African man, you want a strong, lasting relationship, you want someone who is going to be committed to you. There are cultures, there are places in Africa here you can see people like moi. I'm not saying I'm a good man. I'm just saying you can see people who are dedicated to you. Because let me say this. The reason why the black men are doing what they are doing right now, to me, it seems as if they know that no men are going to accept you guys. That is just the truth. Because they know that men are not coming for you guys. Most people are not going after you guys, but most women are accepting them. Just like Lisa said earlier. Do you think if they know that most people are coming for the black women, they will find a way to appreciate you guys? That is one truth that I haven't told you guys before, but that is one sneaky truth I can tell you. Do you disagree or you agree? Do you disagree or you agree? No response. Culture and traditions are like bitter cola. This is what we call cola nuts. This is how culture and traditions are. You see, when you take one, you might not really see the effect, but it's working. When you take two, you would see the effect. What I mean by that, when you take three and four, it's going to be very effective. But look at how small these things are. These are just natural organic stuff. The same thing is applicable to culture and traditions. There are little things that are not being applicable, or there are little things that are being applicable. Little by little, you can get it right, and little by little, you can get it wrong. I think most times, little by little, people are getting things wrong. Focusing on the idea that they know that you guys would be accepted, but that simply means you also have a work to do. Going to an extent where you're saying, okay, Africans are beautiful people. I don't even know when they say, Africans are beautiful people and nice people in certain areas, and we are not perfect. Africans are not absolutely perfect. But what I can say is this: you African women or black women will be more appreciated when you can come back to your root and you can find the people who actually truly loves you. I think some of you need to put that in check. Sometimes you guys want to travel, you go to Portugal, you go to Sweden, you go to European countries. Why not take that time that you have for your holidays and come to Africa? If you think Africa is where you can come to Nigeria. Tell me you want to come to Nigeria, you want to experience. We would make all the provisions of your good times here and put you in the possible light that you can get used to certain things and you might be able to come up. There's a big chance that you will find people who are going to truly love you. That's exactly what I would say. And I think that when the black man over there sees that their women are going out, they would value you. Trust me. You think they don't love you guys? That's the perception most of you have. They do love you guys. The problem is that they want to bait you guys into submission. So to say, okay, we're not going to date you guys. But if you're not careful, if you do not apply wisdom to be able to save yourself from an abusive relationship, then you're going to be abused for life. There's nothing you can do about it. Thinking that you can compete with them, they thinking that you can fight. See, the best thing is to understand that when you go to war, know the best you can do. There are certain individuals that I fight with. We go to court and the rest of it. They have so much money to transfer from one court to another. I know what my strengths are. My strength is that I have the power of the media. I can speak and talk and talk, and I can talk them into problem. But I understand where my power lies. You have to understand where your power lies, and you need to understand that there are certain people you cannot defeat in life with a particular system. If black women decide to fight with the black men and resist, and you guys can win. Family have to come first. You have to be valued again. And for these things to happen, some of you have to take a step back and you have to find a way to move in different place. Now, I know some people have said, yes, I think I have about one or two people who said, oh, African people do not love you. Now, if you will be opening your heart out and your ears to understand why Africans might perceive you in a certain kind of light, but Africans are very easy. I don't want to belittle our people, but they are just like certain things that when you throw it to certain things, they just rush after it. It's not about the money. Once you can show a certain kind of light, like you're willing to learn from them and be happy with them, trust me, they will open the whole door for you. With that being said, I have come to today's lesson. Who blessed me with that money? YouTube is kind of crazy. Someone gives you money and you don't know who gave you the money. Why is YouTube that way? And I've asked the person to tell me who gave me money, and the person did not say anything. So I'll be coming back later this evening. If you want us to talk about the subject, I will hint it out around 7 p.m. African time. And I can tell you this, but I don't want the world to hold me by this word. Some of you can actually have great things in Africa. Please, anything I'm telling you, I'm not trying to run anything with you guys. I'm like, I can show you certain things you can do, and you would have a peaceful stay, investments and stuff, and you can do and flourish well in Africa. It is very possible. Whatever your experience has been in the past, it is possible for you to make it work. That's only what I know. If you want to make it work, you want to give it a try, you want to hear it out, you have to even hear it out. Hear it out from me. It's something I can communicate with you privately, not what I have to say everything live here. If you say it, if you say you're interested, I know how we can continue some conversations, and you will be surprised at how easy you can get exactly what you want in life. Maybe not exactly, but you can get majority of the things you wish in life. With that being said, join me by 7 p.m. African time, Nigerian time specifically. See you in the next video. Whoever is the person that has given me money, please, thank you very much. Shelia Ray, sorry about your situation, but I think try to get to the man and let him know that, okay, you want to know his family, let him know your family. Well, you say you have no family to protect. This is one of the issues that is actually going on. Sometimes I have to wrap my head around stuff like this and think about it and do some research, and then I can even come up with anything in my head, because I don't have all the solutions to life. I'm only trying my best. Love you, everyone. Thank you very much for your support. See you by 7 p.m. African time. Have a great day. Bye-bye. Peace. Oh.